हेलो एवरीवन, आई एम योर मेंटर कार्तिका मैम फ्रॉम लीगल एज। अब क्लैट और एलिट तो हो गया। उसके बाद बहुत सारे बच्चों को ये कंफ्यूजन आता है कि एनएलएसआईयू बैंगलोर एंड एनएलयूडी में से क्या सिलेक्ट करें। दोनों क्लियर हो गए, बट अब कौन से कॉलेज जाना है। तो चलो आज बात करते हैं इसी के रिगार्डिंग कि अपना कौन सा कॉलेज ऑप्शन होना चाहिए। एंड अर्जित जो हमारे AIR 7 इन क्लैट एंड AIR 23 इन एलिट रह चुके हैं, उनसे बात करते हैं कि उनने कौन से कॉलेज को सिलेक्ट किया है। सो हाय अर्जित।
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you for the introduction. I am Arjit Bansal, and I thankfully, gratefully was able to clear CLAT and AILET this year. Uh, given the choice between NLS and NLU Delhi, on the face of it, the option seemed really clear. कि in all the rankings, NRIF, हर जगह NLS को ऊपर रखा हुआ था.
Right.
So initially, I was like, ठीक है, Bangalore ही जाएंगे. Like there is nothing much to debate upon. But after I did some research, I talked to my brother who is also in an NLU, so he knows about these things, and asking around with seniors, I realized that there are certain differences which separate those two colleges. And for my personal preference, NLU Delhi is going to suit me better. We can't really definitively say that one college is better than the other. So when making the decision, it's mostly you have to see what you want out of your college and out of these 5 years, and then you have to make the decision for yourself. So, firstly, if we talk about the location, it's that, of course, there's going to be a north south divide.
Right.
Traveling really far away for your college, adjusting to the language, the culture, the food, the people, it's going to be difficult. So, generally, if you're from the northern part of India, you're going to prefer NLU Delhi. And if you're in the south, obviously, you'd go to Bangalore.
Right.
So, that's one thing.
Hmm.
Apart from that, so like location is something which you can compromise upon. Everybody travels far away for their colleges. That is something that you can work with. But apart from that, NLS sets itself apart because of its famous or infamous trimester system, which makes the academics of it really rigorous, but and really hard. Of course, very effective, and you learn a lot over there. But sometimes what I've heard from students and what I've come to realize is that it puts a lot of pressure on the students, and sometimes it sets you on the path where you're not able to explore a lot, and you have to study every day to keep up with that rigorous curriculum, which is great for doing better academics. But I realized that that is not something which I want to do, because knowing,
Is it?
yes, ma'am, I wanted more exposure because having switched fields very recently, I knew that I want to keep my options open, which I thought I might not be able to do in NLS Bangalore, because there I'd be just not given enough time to really think about what I am doing or what I want to do. So NLS is best. Yes, ma'am. There are like 3 exams every year. So like preparation may रह जाते हो, and you barely get enough time to do as many internships as you do in NLU Delhi. So if you want to get into corporate or academics, then there is no place like NLS Bangalore, and their alumni base is obviously the best in the country because it's one of the oldest law institutions, and their pass outs are doing amazing in courts, in top law firms as well. And NLU Delhi is relatively new, so of course its alumni base is not as strong as NLS Bangalore. But all the students and all the batches which have passed out are doing exceptionally well for themselves and are practicing in courts or are judges and are in top law firms as well. So that is something which does equalize it a bit. Apart from that, of course, NLU Delhi is also known for its academics, and it has marks for attendance. So that is something which might turn off a few people.
Yes.
But I always enjoy attending classes, so that wasn't really a problem for me. But yeah, Delhi with its connectivity is a place where you can get the maximum exposure. All the best internships are going to be offered in Delhi. A lot of top law firms are over here. There is a high court and a Supreme Court over here. And of course, Karnataka also has a high court, but the Supreme Court is only one in the country. So those things really give Delhi an edge in terms of internships and exposure, which is one thing which I've considered. Secondly, I knew that corporate might not be something which I want to do because I really can't see myself doing a desk job from morning to the evening without really doing anything else. So I thought maybe I'd be doing litigation. or of course from the start my plan was to appear for a government exam, be it UPSC or maybe Delhi Judicial Services.
ओके,
So
तो
again,
दिल्ली
of course,
इज बेस्ट फॉर दैट कि अगर और भी कोचिंग करना है, यूपीएससी एंड ऑल की तैयारी करना है, तो दिल्ली में अपने पास काफी ऑप्शंस रहते हैं एंड एनएलयू दिल्ली में टाइम
yes,
भी
ma'am.
रहेगा, राइट? फर्स्ट
Yes, ma'am. I mean,
सेमेस्टर होंगे। हम्म।
ये है कि in NLU Delhi, in the last 2 years, the classes end really soon, and the entire rest of the day is free. So उस time पे you can do internships or you can go to any coaching. Of course, NLS offers its own version of this, in which in the first 3 years your grade matters, and उसी के basis पे आपका final CGPA बनता है. Last 2 years में आपको बस pass होना पड़ता है.
वो फ्रीज
But
हो जाता
firstly,
है,
NLS Bangalore में, yeah.
राइट?
बट एनएस बैंगलोर में लास्ट 2 years में भी पास होना अपने आप में ही बहुत मुश्किल है बिकॉज ऑफ हाउ स्ट्रिक्ट एंड डिफिकल्ट देयर करिकुलम इज. सेकेंडली, आई थिंक आई वांटेड टू कीप द फर्स्ट 3 years, of course I'll be focusing on my studies, but I wanted to keep them open for exploring new internships and really figuring out what I really want to do in my life. If in the first 3 years I get stuck up in preparing and studying really hard to get a perfect CGPA, which is going to be frozen, then I'll be too stressed out with studies to really explore properly. So that's why NLU Delhi was my pick.
ओके, अभी जैसे हॉस्टल की अगर अपन बात करें तो एनएलएसआईयू बैंगलोर में तो हॉस्टल फैसिलिटीज हैं, बट एज दिल्ली में दिल्ली एनसीआर वालों बच्चों के लिए फैसिलिटी नहीं है, मतलब गारंटी नहीं है कि उनको हॉस्टल मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा, पहले प्रेफरेंस बाकी बच्चों को दी जाएगी। तो वो कंसिडर किया कि नहीं किया कहीं पर?
Yes, ma'am, that was something which I debated upon a lot because obviously everyone, my brother, my family told me that there is really nothing like a hostel life. It's really something important for you, or an important phase for you to go through. And Bangalore has great hostels and they are easily available. Space बहुत ज़्यादा है and it is offered to everybody. Whereas in Delhi, of course, my permanent resident address is from Delhi NCR, Noida. So there is a high chance that I will not be allotted a hostel by NLU Delhi because they have less spaces. So they give preference in the order. First, they give preference to students from outside Delhi NCR. Then they give preference to female students. And then lastly, they give preference to males from Delhi NCR. So the chances of me getting a hostel are really low. So that was something which had me stumped. But then I realized that firstly, it's really directly connected to the metro. The blue line goes directly to the college. So even if I have to travel for a bit, that's also very feasible because traveling by metro is very convenient. Secondly, I realized that there are a lot of students from Delhi NCR who are going to be attending NLU Delhi with me.
Right.
So once I collect a bunch of friends, I can very easily get a PG or a flat along with them, basically. And there are a bunch of colleges in that area, so there are a lot of PG facilities available in that area as well, as we checked out and confirmed. So I guess living in a flat or PG with your friends is also very same to living in a hostel, if not exactly the same, but it is going to offer a similar experience. And of course, then the college is going to be 5 minutes away, and then you can make those memories like that as well.
राइट, तो एक तो अपनी लोकेशन प्रेफरेंस हो गई, देन सेकंड अपना एकेडमिक्स के पर्पस पे हो गया, और फ्यूचर क्राइटेरिया हो गया कि अगर फ्यूचर में अपने को और एक्सपोजर चाहिए, गवर्नमेंट एग्जाम्स हैं, जुडिशरी है, तो उसकी ज़्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटीज अपने पास दिल्ली में है, राइट? तो जब क्लैट और एलेट दिया था आपने, तभी ऐसा कुछ सोचा था कि अगर दोनों में हो गया तो पहले से ही डिसाइडेड था कि नहीं एनएलयू डी ही सिलेक्ट करेंगे या एनएलएसआईयू भी जा सकते हैं?
Yes, ma'am. For me personally, right before I started my preparation, I had this conversation with my brother. I mean, it was a very presumptuous conversation to have कि दोनों clear हो गए तो. But still, like we were discussing the best case scenarios and the worst case scenarios as well. I mean, we did have the conversation अगर दोनों clear नहीं हुए तो क्या करना है. But in the same breath, we discussed अगर दोनों clear हो गए तो which college would I be preferring. So उस time पे ही I had done my research about both the colleges. I had talked to my brother and talked to some seniors. And that's when I realized in LegalEdge, basically, we are given a booklet, जिसको MAC कहते हैं.
Right.
And in its first page, you have to fill your dream college. ऐसा उन्हें एक line में दे रखा है. So most of the students around me had filled NALSAR or NLS. And in that, I had from the starting filled NLU Delhi. And a lot of times, a lot of lesser number of students used to give AILET mocks. when they were stressed about CLAT mocks, and मेरे लिए हमेशा priority AILET के mocks ही रहे थे. So like after preparing a bit and scoring well in AILET, I realized CLAT में नहीं भी हुआ, NLU Delhi मिल गया तो चलेगा.
और मिल गया, दोनों ही मिल गए, क्लैट भी निकल गया, एलिट भी
Yes,
निकल गया,
ma'am.
दोनों में AIR भी आ गई. मतलब अपन पहले से
Yes, ma'am.
थोड़ा
I'm
प्री
grateful for
डिसाइडेड
that.
चल रहे थे, पहले से ही अपन थोड़ा प्री डिसाइडेड चल रहे थे कि नहीं मुझे तो NLUD ही जाना है, राइट?
Yes, ma'am.
ओके
Like
एंड
I waited to fill the counseling for CLAT
हाँ.
until AILET का रिजल्ट नहीं आया था. I thought अगर AILEट का रिजल्ट आ गया and if I get a safe rank, then मैं CLAT की registration भरूंगा ही नहीं. I'll directly go to NLU.
तो मतलब अपन ने क्लैट की काउंसलिंग में रजिस्टर किया ही नहीं, अपन सीधे NLUD ही गए, राइट?
Yes, ma'am. I did not sign up for registration of CLAT.
ओके एंड लोकेशन हो गया, फ्यूचर एक्सपोजर हो गया, और क्या ऐसी चीज़ें रहीं जैसे फैमिली, फैमिली की क्या प्रेफरेंस थी? उनको भी NLUD ज़्यादा बेटर लगा? ऑन व्हाट बेसिस?
So, ma'am, my family, of course, each family wants their child to explore and get more exposure. But at the same time, I guess all the families also want their child to be close to home so
करेक्ट.
that they can assist them whenever required. And of course, so that I can also go back to them in case, God forbid, there is any emergency. And in that case, NLU Delhi, my hometown is in Noida. And even from Jaipur also, Delhi is much closer instead of Bangalore, in which I'd have to, even when I have to travel, I'd have to take a flight,
राइट.
which I mean, it's going to be extra expenses as well. Whereas in Delhi, it's going to be really easy to travel up down whenever I have to. So my family was always in favor of Delhi. Apart from that, the batch size also in Delhi, it's a smaller batch as compared to NLS Bangalore, which is also something which I thought I prefer more, a smaller, more intimate group of students.
तो ऐसा क्यों, ज़्यादा बच्चों के साथ क्यों नहीं?
So, of course, when you have more students, there is more competition, there is diversity of people you get to meet. But when there are less students, I guess there is more individual attention and it's easier to stand apart from the crowd. Of course, if you're doing really well and if you are different, you're going to stand out anywhere. But still, I thought that in a smaller batch size, it's easier to, I guess, make friends also. It feels more like a closer knit of people, a small family. And I guess the professors would also be able to give more attention to each student.
ओके. मतलब अपन ने बैच साइज, कितनी सीट्स हैं, ये भी कंसिडर किया कॉलेज सिलेक्ट करने से पहले, कि जितना कम होगा उतना
Yes, ma'am.
ज़्यादा अपन अच्छे से परफॉर्म करेंगे, राइट?
Yes, ma'am.
ओके एंड और क्या प्रेफरेंसेस रहे आपके इन दोनों कॉलेज के बीच में?
I mean, there was one more thing, like some people were talking about placement. And if we see NRIF rankings, placements maybe, I guess the average package of NLU Delhi is more than NLS Bangalore. Of course, there are several factors which bring down NLS's average package, the batch size being one of them, because in a larger batch size, average comes down.
Right.
But still, NLU Delhi, with its smaller batch size, has better placements as well. So then, really, the conversation stops making sense after that, because placements is one thing which NLS के लिए बोला जाता है कि यार NLS की placements best है. But if average NLU Delhi का भी बहुत अच्छा जा रहा है, that means उसकी भी कोई इतनी tension नहीं है. Even if maybe somehow my mind switches and I decide कि corporate ही करना है, then also I won't regret coming into NLU Delhi, because corporate में भी NLU Delhi की placements are amazing.
मतलब अपन ने स्टार्टिंग में तो डिसाइड कर लिया था कि अपने को NLUD जाना है, एंड अपना पूरा ही प्री प्लान चल रहा है कि अगर अपने को प्लेसमेंट में जाना है, लिटिगेशन में जाना है, यूपीएससी करना है, तो भी अपने लिए NLUD ही बेस्ट रहेगा, राइट?
Yes, मैम, एक्चुअली बिकॉज स्टार्टिंग में जो प्लान कर रखा था वो नहीं वर्कआउट किया, तो उसके बाद अब आगे के पाथ्स, काफी डाइवर्जिंग पाथ्स पहले से प्लान कर रखे हैं कि यूपीएससी करना है तो कब क्या क्या पढ़ाई खत्म कर लूंगा, अगर लिटिगेशन में जाना है तो कब कौन सी इंटर्नशिप करूंगा. एवरीथिंग आई हैव चॉक्ड आउट विद माय ब्रदर.
सारे ऑप्शंस क्लियर कर लिए कि इसके बाद ये, इसके बाद ये नहीं तो ये.
यस मैम.
ओके.
यस मैम, बेसिकली.
जो आपने डिसाइड करा हो, अगर NLUD नहीं होता तो NLSIU बैंगलोर रहता, एंड वो किस बेसिस पे फिर आप कंसिडर करते?
Ma'am, honestly, actually, in my preference list, I had placed Nalsar over NLSIU Bangalore.
ओके. ओके.
Because again, for the same reasons, because right now as well, I'm keeping my options open and I haven't really explored the law field that well right now. But before that, I was really passionate about, or I guess I really wanted to try UPSC once at least.
Okay.
Like I wanted to try for it. So for that, again with the same problems which NLS presents with its trimester system and its rigorous curriculum,
Right.
I thought that I won't really be able to get the chance and the time to prepare for UPSC. I mean, of course, there are students who have cleared UPSC from there, but me personally, I recognize that I'd need more time to prepare for it properly, and I really don't want to wait a couple of years more because already I gave 2 years to NEET.
Right.
So now I won't be able to stay at home and prepare again. So that's why I just wanted to get a college in which I can focus on both the things. And Nalsar again gives me all those opportunities which Delhi was offering, except for, of course, the internships. And Nalsar is thoda sa 50 kilometers away from the main city of Hyderabad. So that's why I was like, कि नहीं दिल्ली मिल जाए तो better होगा.
दिल्ली में फिर भी कनेक्टिविटी है, नालसार की उतनी कनेक्टिविटी नहीं है हैदराबाद से, राइट?
Yes, ma'am. It's very far. दिल्ली में तो मेट्रो से everything feels close.
ओके. और कोई चीज जो आपने कंसिडर करी हो, छोटी सी, ये भी मैटर करती
No,
है
ma'am.
आपके लिए?
One thing which I did think about a bit was that for NLS Bangalore, you give CLAT. And CLAT is a paper which is for the selection in a lot of colleges, जो consortium allot कर रहा है.
Right.
So when consortium is making a paper, it is making a paper for everyone and considering that it is going to get allotment for a lot of colleges.
Correct.
तो उसकी वजह से it makes a very general paper and sometimes जिसका standard इधर उधर हो सकता है as per student critiques. Basically जैसे इस बार के पेपर को काफी critique मिला है. Even though I respect the consortium decision and of course they were thinking and they put a lot of effort into making that paper. Whereas AILET का जो standard है, it is only for NLU Delhi. So काफी niche और जिस टाइप का ये crowd expect कर रहे हैं, जिस टाइप के students ये demand कर रहे हैं, उसी टाइप के students को filter out करने के लिए ये paper हर साल बनाते हैं. So that is something which makes me respect AILET a bit more and which is why I was also a bit more inclined to clear AILET.
ओके. तो जैसे अपना बैच साइज बाद में प्रेफरेंस था, उसके पहले अपना था कि यहाँ कंपटीशन भी कम है एलेट में, क्लैट में काफी कंपटीशन भी है, राइट? तो बैच साइज भी
Yes, ma'am.
एंड इधर कंपटीशन भी कम है, बैच साइज भी छोटा है, तो फोकस फोकस फोकस.
Yes, ma'am. Although AILET में भी it's like CLAT के जो टॉपर जनरली होते हैं वो तो दे रहे होते हैं AILET, so it gets difficult as well. But still, I like that it's more specialized the paper, so it never compromises on the things it expects from its students.
एलेट में वैसे कंपटीशन तो कम होती नहीं है, बस थोड़ी सी सीट
Yes,
होती
ma'am.
है, इतने सारे बच्चे होते हैं, राइट?
Yes, ma'am, because you need to get a really low rank for AILET because classmates like there is a safety net that ठीक है अगर and ये नहीं मिला तो वो मिल गया, वो नहीं मिला तो वो मिल गया, but in AILET it's literally just do or die.
Okay. So anything else you want to share about NLU Delhi or NLSIU Bangalore?
I mean, above all, it's like not NLU Delhi, not NLS. If you get into any good college, at the end of the day, more than the college, it matters what you do with your 5 years in that college, how well you are scoring, how much internships you are doing, how much competitions you are participating in, how you build your CV. And at the end of the day, of course, the college is going to help you. But by and large, most important is what you do with those 5 years. And regardless of the college, if you believe in yourself, if you keep working hard, you're going to excel in life.
Okay. So thank you so much, Arjit, for your views and all the very best for your future.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.